Galamsey is a disease which affects our natural resources like our forests and water bodies. But today we'd be concentrating on our forests. My name is Akosua and this is for Kids Paradise. And today we are live here at the Accra Zoo to give you guys an up close of some animals you don't get to see regularly, like lions, zebras, ostrich, etc. Just to mention it, to make you guys aware of the fact that illegal mining destroys their habitat. Follow me, let's get into the Accra Zoo and have a chit chat with my tour guy for today. Hello, what's your name? Thank you.
I'm the first animal you meet in Accra Zoo. You bypass me and you've missed the first animal.
That's wonderful. So you're animal.
Samuel.
That's wonderful. Nice to meet you, animal. I'm animal Akosua. Nice to meet you.
Take a walk through the zoo. Nice meeting you too.
Okay, so where are we going to first? Or I can decide.
So we are going to learn a few rules of the zoo before we take. You are welcome to Accra Zoo. I'm going to share with you 3 rules of the zoo, 3 rules that are going to keep you safe in Accra Zoo. The first one has to do with your hands. So you are going to keep these hands to yourself. Remember not to touch anything in the zoo. Number 2, you should remember that your tour guide knows a place better than you. So you stay behind your tour guide at all times, which is me. And then the last rule you should remember is that you can't tease any animal in the zoo. And by teasing, we mean all the things we just talked about, including eating or even just taking a snack close to any enclosure. It will attract the animals closer to you. We are in a forest and we can't control everything inside the forest. Once you are eating, it's going to attract animals closer to you. So you're not going to eat, we are going to stay behind our tour guide and we are going to make sure we don't touch anything in the zoo. Thank you. This happens to be a breeding area for endangered species, and by endangered we mean animals that their numbers have reduced in the world. So you find these animals at an interesting place on the globe. They happen to be around the Sandra River and then the Pra River in Ghana. So we say these animals are indigenous to Côte d'Ivoire and then they are also indigenous to Ghana. Right here we have what we call geese, and since we are making this quite interactive, I'm going to ask you questions since you have the right to ask me questions as well. So when you look at this closely, what comes in mind? What do you call this? What do you call these?
A geese.
So these are geese, but we have 2 species. We have the white Emden geese and then the brown Chinese geese. And
why is it called that? It's funny.
So Emden geese happens to be a name from Germany. So you know there's a city like that called Emden. Same way the brown Chinese geese, that's where they originate from, or that's where they are indigenous to. So that's where the first person who recorded them found them. He decided to name them after the place he recorded them. So that is what we call the Emden geese and the brown Chinese geese. But the color doesn't determine the name, because you could have a brown one but it's not a brown Chinese geese. Same way you can see a white one but it's not a white Emden geese.
That's wonderful. So let's continue our tour.
Where we have the zebras. But before the zebra, we are going to look at the ostrich, one of the birds we classify as the biggest bird in the world currently. And you are going to be amazed as to what it's really made up of. One thing you will be surprised about, or most people really forget about or don't think about, is the toes. As big as that bird really is going to look, you realize that it has only 2 toes. So the ostrich happens to be the only bird in the world that walks on 2 toes. It is normal to see birds walk on 3, 4, even some even have 5. But the ostrich walks on just 2. as big as it is, though it's the biggest bird in the world. So let's go through this area.
That's huge. Ooh.
This is the bird we have classified. That is the biggest bird in the world. And interestingly, as I said earlier, they walk on just 2 toes. They have just 2 toes. Also, another interesting thing about them is that anytime you see an ostrich and it is black, you know you are seeing a male. And anytime you see an ostrich and it is grey, or what you call ash.
So this is still for Kids Paradise, live here on Joy Prime TV with me, your host Akosua. We are live here at Accra Zoo, and I'm actually having so much fun. I just made friends with an ostrich, red belly monkey. There are lots. I really can't mention it. I hope you guys are having so much fun. Stay tuned, because I actually am having fun. Uncle, wait. That's beautiful. I actually thought zebras were white and black. I mean striped. But now I can see brown.
Well, so actually they are not brown, and they are just, because of the area they find themselves in, they like to have sun bath. And when they have a sun bath, you get to see the color you are seeing. But if you look closer, there are other ones that their skin is not as brown. There are other ones that you realize that their skin is not as brown as the first 2 you saw earlier. So that is really the zebra, and you will know that you'll be surprised at the answer to this question. But I'm going to ask it anyway, and I'm not going to answer it. It becomes your homework if you don't know. So is the zebra really a black and white animal, or a white and black animal? In other words, is it a white animal with black stripes, or it's actually black with white stripes?
Woo, that's tough. I'm going to do my research, don't worry. One of the most anticipated animals here on planet Earth is the lion. And basically, I'm walking into the lion's den. And I actually love to know why the lion is termed the king of the jungle. So as I'm here with Uncle Samuel, I know you'd love to answer this question. So I'd love to ask you why it's termed so.
Well, I like to also answer that question with just one word, which is courage. The courage the lion has, aside that the family system, lions live in pride. So it has all the features of a king. And aside that, the mane of the lion gives it a natural crown, and that makes him look like it is. Now, there are different types of lions in the world. Among them, there are 5 big ones. Among the big ones is one of them is what you're seeing, which is a Transvaal. We call them the Transvaal lion. Interestingly, you realize that the lions you see on TV are not as big or as huge
at all.
Yes. Probably they are not Transvaal, or they are not among 2019, and this is where they make sense.
We finally seen the lion, a few of them, and I learned that one is called the Transvaal. Right. And I'd love to ask you a question. We've actually had a long walk, and I'd love to ask you this question. You were saying something about not taming them. They are like how they are from the wild. And I'll ask, why is that so?
So we should understand, the general public should understand that would be a different kind of zoo, because Accra Zoo is not a petting zoo. Petting zoos will allow you, or they will tame the animals, allow you to get closer to them. You can go closer to groom or even touch them for a while, but we don't have a petting zoo.
Okay, so if there are two things I've picked from this tour, it's to mimic their natural habitat and to reintroduce the animals back. Is that so?
Yes, you have done a great job by picking those two.
So my question is, with the current illegal mining issue and everything, the Galamsey, the gather them and sell. If you guys don't know, the actual name is gather them and sell. How is this possible? I mean, the reintroduction of these animals back. How would this issue affect the organization of what you are putting up?
So, as you actually said, it is out of the sphere that the Wildlife Division, and in fact the Forestry Commission in general, keeps to preach against the Galamsey, because we have nowhere else but the wild. We need to protect it, not only because we think it's a forest and it has water that should be protected for all human beings, but because there's a rich, and there are things they are rich as richer resources. There are richer resources, and then there is something more than gold in those forests.
That was wonderful. I hope you guys learned a lot. So basically, all this tour was all about is to inform you that you guys should put a stop to illegal mining, because we are definitely not just harming the wildlife or their natural habitats, but you're actually harming yourself and myself. So that is it for today's episode of Focus Paradise. See you same time next week. This was Accra Zoo Live with me, your host, Akosua. Love you guys. Mwah.